Welcome to the HR Happy Hour Work Break with Steve. It's just me today. Trish and Karen on the road, unavailable right now. That's okay. I've got this. I'm going to use my time, my platform here to give us a couple of very, very important updates and keep our momentum going here on the show because we're on fire. First off, this is very important. A follow-up to some news that was previously reported on the Work Break show. Tomorrow, my friends, the McRib is back. This is very exciting. McDonald's is rolling out McRib nationwide for the first time since 2012. I know I talked about this a few weeks back when the news was first announced. The day is tomorrow, my friends. I've not been to a McDonald's in quite some time. I feel like I might have to go get myself a McRib tomorrow. So Team McRib, if you're on that team, let me know. Tweet at us, shoot us a note. I will be getting a McRib, if not tomorrow, very soon. And I will be reporting back. So that is really, really good news. The other bit of good news I wanted to mention, this is actually interesting. I don't know if I'd call it good news, but I thought it was interesting today. Unilever, right? Huge global company, right? Consumer goods company, giant. You probably have Unilever products in your home right now, maybe using some right now. I read today Unilever is rolling out a 1 year, now full year trial of a 4-day work week schedule for all their employees in New Zealand, which is not a lot of employees. Granted, it's about 100-ish employees. But here's the interesting thing about this experiment or this trial is Unilever is not increasing, say, the daily hours of work. So let's say these folks were on a normal 40-hour work week schedule. Unilever's not making them do 4 days of 10 hours, right? They're just saying your schedule is now a 4-day schedule. They really are going to do this for a year to really find out what happens in terms of productivity, output, satisfaction, turnover, all the things that we care about when it comes to employee success and organizational success. It's possible, according to the reports I read too, if this is successful, it's the model, and it could be the model or the platform to roll this out more broadly, right, around the world. They have about 150,000 worldwide employees, and I'm certain, right, lots of them and maybe lots of us as well would love this idea of, hey, your schedule's now a 4-day schedule. Hey, get everything you need to get done, of course, but we're not going to ask you to work extra hours to make up for time, right? It's really just an output-driven kind of experiment. It'll be really cool to see what happens next year with that experiment. So anyway, I'm going to follow that. One other one I had to mention too. Actually, I have two more things real quick. This was cool too, right? I was reading this morning. China, right? Our friends in China, they just landed. You might have missed this. I did until this morning. They landed a spacecraft, an uncrewed spacecraft, mind you, on the moon. It's called the Chang'e rocket or the Chang'e Explorer. It's on the moon now to collect rocks and some moon dust from an unexplored part of the moon. I would figure most of the moon's unexplored. I'd have a feeling. I mean, I know we've been up there a few times, but how much of it could we really gotten around to see? Anyway, it's on the moon now. They're going to try to get it back by the end of the year. And this was really interesting. NASA and really no one else has landed anything on the moon since 1972. I had no idea it'd been that long. There was a 10-year run where we were, maybe a 5-year run. We were ping-ponging back and forth to the moon, but it's been over 40 years. Actually closer to 50 years since we've been on the moon. So kudos to them. One last thing real quick. Two last things. One is I talked recently on the show about CVS Health, and they had just named a new CEO, a female CEO. She's the CEO of the largest Fortune 500 company to be run by a woman. There was another announcement in that Fortune 500 CEO space that I thought was interesting too. DEC Sporting Goods, which I must tell you, I didn't even know was a Fortune 500 company. They announced their new CEO will be a woman. Her name's Lauren Hobart. DEC Sporting Goods had been run by a family for a really, really long time. And so the first person who founded it passed on the CEO mantle to, I believe, his son. Now Lauren Hobart's taking over as the CEO. That makes 41 companies out of the Fortune 500 who have female CEOs. So that's still a really, really low number. It's about 8%. Hopefully over time, we'll see that change. But again, good news from the kind of diversity in the boardroom front. And so last thing, I promise the last thing. I'm just finishing editing the HR Happy Hour show, the real podcast that Trish and I do. One is dropping tomorrow morning. about the end of jobs and the future of work with our guest, Jeff Wald. I just listened back to it. I just finished editing it, actually. It's a really, really good show. One of my favorite HR happy hour conversations we've had in quite some time. Jeff Wald was the founder of a company called Work Market, who was a platform that companies use to manage their freelance and on-demand workforces. So he's got a ton of experience with the world of work, the nature of work, how it's changing, what the future might look like. Full of data, full of interesting observations, really a good appreciation of the labor market and the history of the labor market as well. I think you'll really like the show. So if you're a fan of the show, please check it out. And if you're not, check it out as well. We'll be tweeting it out all day tomorrow as well, or you could find all of our show archives at hrhappyhour.net. Okay, quick one today because I was flying solo. Hopefully it worked out okay. Thanks for hanging in there with me if you did. We will be back again on the HR Happy Hour Work Break Show tomorrow. I hope everyone had a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.